So you're thinking of going up Striding Edge for the first time and you're not really sure if it's for you or how to approach it. So let's just start with putting your favourite hiking boots on and going for a walk. I'll let you into a secret. I'm not that good on my feet and I'm frightened of heights, but I've done Striding Edge and other stuff like the Anik Eager Ridge a few times and I've survived. I've been a bit scared, but it's been okay. I've even done 600 skydives and I'm frightened of heights, but I've survived and I've been okay. And it's all about putting one foot in front of another. And somebody I know, an experienced mountain guide, said climbing difficult terrain is all just about making one good step after another, just one at a time. And if your last step wasn't so great, make sure the next one's better and you'll be absolutely fine. So let's start off by walking, but let's just slow it right down. So remember, on steep exposed ground like Striding Edge, you're not going to be walked quickly. So you'll notice when you're doing that all sorts of things about your gait cycle. And for me, I really have to control my core. And that's a very good exercise when you're walking slowly and on potentially exposed ground, is to think about 30% tummy tuck. Imagine that you've just walked onto a beach and you've really kind of like sucked your tummy in because there's loads of people taking photographs and stuff. Well, think about that as being 100%. And 30% is just a general little tummy tuck. And you'll notice when I was walking along that path, I was able to keep a nice straight line, a nice even gait. And this is the point of this build-up, as it's about building confidence and examining your own technique. So when you actually come to steep ground, exposed ground, you'll be thinking to yourself, well, I can walk along a woodland path without falling off. I can even walk across a bit of a log without falling off. Now I'm taking you through a few exercises on easy, inconsequential ground. Now, this is assuming that you would have done some easy type scrambling before. Good places to start are the little rocky ridge on the approach to Cat Bells, and something a little bit more high mountain is the approach to Great Gable from Windy Gap. It represents a few little difficult steps. Now, Striding Edge is a grade 1 scramble, so it has more consequence. So in other words, a fall or slip from the ridge could result in serious injury or death. So to avoid that, you really want to kind of like build your confidence, and even stepping and standing on a simple wall where a fall might result in injury is a good place to start, but do this at your own risk. So did you catch that? What she did is a little tiny spring before she went up. And that's a mistake a lot of us make when we're ascending steps, with too much forward lean and too much on the front leg. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm stepping up onto the front leg, forward lean, all the weight on here. And you get that little stagger. I'm sure you've seen that lots of times with hill walkers, and it's a mistake I've made myself before. Let's try a little bit more dog, a little bit more from the back leg using those big muscles. Nice upright posture, a little spring down and then up. So our bags are packed, the weather forecast is right, let's get up Helvellyn via Striding Edge. Good morning, well it's 4:15 AM, I'm parked at Glen Ridding. Let me show you the route I'm taking. Okay, so it's I'm parked here in Glen Ridding. So it's back around here, up by the side of the river, up the path, following Myers Beck, up Birkhouse Moor as the first summit, and up to the hole in the wall. And this is where the approach to the ridge starts. And don't forget, at any point, it's still been a great day out
And if conditions aren't right or you aren't feeling happy, oh, the crows are going crazy, you can always come back and you've had a lovely walk, or visit Red Tarn and come back down the valley. Now the ridge starts proper after the hole in the wall, got a little bit of a climb up here, and then the interesting sections in the middle. We've got a little down climb here that we'll talk about later, a little bit of a steep ascent, and it's always a good idea to approach this centrally. Try not to think about going to the screes at the side or there's dangerous cliffs to the right. We're going to go up here centrally, up to the summit of Helvellyn, and then you've got a number of choices back down. You can reverse your route, or if you're feeling up for it, which I'm intending to do today, is to do Swirl Edge, which is another exciting knife edge ridge, and then down to valley towards Red Tarn, all the way down following Red Tarn back. Whee! And back to my car.
Now there's lots of great advice out there on the use of trekking pole, and I say trekking pole because I'm just going to take one for this journey. It's a good solid lecky one, but think about not using it to lean on as a third leg on consequential terrain. Think about it as a nice extra balance point. So I would practice the quick draw. So what that means is to collapse your pole down for storage, get it by the basket end, lift this rucksack strap, pop it underneath there, and diagonally down the back of your rucksack, and it'll stay there nice and secure. I don't find it uncomfortable at all. Some say it's better to have a big basket on the end there, but I've never found it a problem really. And then when you're ready to go and you've finished using your hands, you can just pop it out the back there and redeploy your pole. So that way it's always kind of like nice and out of the way. And don't be lazy, set it to the right height for ascents and descents. Right, let's get up.
Another little tip to remind yourself that you've got control of your feet is to tread quietly. Amazing down there in the northern part of Ullswater. The morning mist just starting to burn off.
Great. Just getting up close to the summit of Birkhouse Moor, and we can see our objective. Looks beautiful in the morning sun, lovely and green. I've not seen a soul. Well, this is quite amusing. There's been nobody up here until now, and I've just met Paul here. He's wild camped, he's doing a few Wainwrights, and he's just told me that it's his first time on Striding Edge and he's a little bit nervous, and he's heard a few stories. So what kind of stories have you heard, Paul?
I had a little look on Google yesterday. So only 2 years ago there was an RF guy who lost his foot and unfortunately lost his life. So little things like that worry me, and I've got a bit of weight on my back. So, and I don't know whether this is it's not really a strong wind, it's a mild wind this, but any kind of wind can just make it that little bit tricky.
Yeah, that's a good point. Your first time, you want to keep the weight light, but also you can read lots of things about people dying, and people do die on this ridge, and we've kind of talked about that. But people die crossing the road all the time. You've just got to be prepared, and as I said earlier, just take one good step at a time, and it'll be absolutely fine. It's the hole in the wall. The wall has a hole, and it's time to lace the boots up and get to the main event. It was good chatting to Paul. I think he was pleased to see somebody else, and that's made me mindful of another tip. First time, unless you're supremely confident, don't go alone. Take like-minded people with you, and you'll have a much better time boosting each other up. When moving on any scrambling terrain, it's a good tip to think about. Only touch the rock if it comes to you. If you've got to reach down to grab something, you're breaking your form. But if it means staying steady and not falling off by using your hands, that's also fine. This is the first little pinnacle. The path goes around the bottom and you can stick to the main ridge. You can see where it's kind of like really polished, but you'll often find slightly lower sections where you can use the side rock for support. So choose your own route. In fact, you can see pretty clearly along here just below Paul, who's doing really well. Now when descending down little steps like this, it might be tempting to sit down on your bum and lower yourself down, but just be mindful, it's likely that your rucksack will catch and pitch you forward. Not great. Now the handholds are very good here, so why not at the top just take your time, get hold of a good handhold, lean back a little bit and look down and see the footholds below you, and just descend down in an orderly manner. Not sure where to put your feet? Think. Edges, ledges and wedges. But going just off a little bit's fine as well. You've got a little bit of a handrail at the side. Good, this is the final tower. Looking back along the ridge there, I've done a mix of towards the top and down at the side a little bit, just, you know, whatever took my fancy really. Staying safe, enjoying it. So there's a last little sting on the ridge on this last tower, and this stymies a lot of people. So what you have to do is access the col down there. So there is an alternative to the down climb. There's a way around here that's still consequential, but apparently a little bit easier. So this is the tower from the bottom. So what you could do is climb back up there and climb down it. So next time you come, you'll know what the crack is. Now I've just done that especially for you, but I didn't press record on the camera. So now, just for you, I've got to do it again. But it is nice and quiet and there's going to be nobody coming down, so that's fine. So it's just that first little step really, and the handholds are absolutely bomber. This is probably a good place that if you have got somebody more experienced in the party, that they go first and they just guide your feet down. But the rest of it's just a little walk really. So, you know, it might be a sort of 7-meter tower, but really it's just this 2-meter section with absolutely fantastic handholds and footholds. Absolutely no problem. No bother. Fuck me. Okay, great. So that's the main part of the ridge done. Well done, give yourself a pat on the back. That wasn't too bad. There's that last tower. Hope I got that all right. It looked like the camera had spun round a little bit. Not doing it again. And now it's time to kind of just enjoy the little climb up to Helvellyn summit for some second breakfast. It's still only 7:30 in the morning, so plenty of time to enjoy this little scrambly section. So as I was saying earlier, the best approach here, straight up the middle really. Don't get drawn off to the screes at the side. Looking southwest, it's just a sea of cloud. I think this is the Coniston Range over here. Absolutely superb. A couple of guys wild camping here. They would have had a nice dawn. Lovely. Here's the summit shelter on the Helvellyn Plateau. I nearly said Cairngorm Plateau then. So I hope you like this video and it's been helpful. Let me know in the comments below about your experiences of doing striding edge, what you felt like on that first time, how was it for you, and also let me know if this video inspires you to have a go at it this summer. Now if you don't feel you have the experience or the confidence and you just need a little bit of support, you can always book a mountain leader. So links below to how you can do that, or you can book an experienced mountain guide such as Chris Ensel. So here's the summit of Helvellyn, and this is going to be my descent down here, down Schwirrel Edge, onto the path, past Red Tarn and down into the valley to Glen Ridding that's nestling down there. Now you know what I'm about is about getting youngsters into the hills, and increasingly over this next couple of years I'm getting some scouts into the high hills. I've got the permits from scouts for that. I'm working on my mountain leader. So I'm trying to raise funds to buy a personal emergency beacon, which I can use for when I'm taking youngsters out on the hills. It's not really for me. Nobody cares about my old carcass. It's more to help to keep the youngsters safe if I'm in areas where there's no phone signal. So if you want to buy me a coffee, that'll go towards funds to buy something like a Garmin InReach Mini or a bivy stick, and I'll be paying for the subscription obviously, and that'll be used on Scouts expeditions. Cheers. Right, time to have a second breakfast and go through this kit and enjoy this amazing view. Cheers.